Philosophy. Philosophy is nothing other than the study of things that are invisible and that happened only once. Part 12. The signature that cannot be forged. If something is truly invisible and happened only once, then it can neither be repeated nor photographed. It leaves no record, and it cannot be recreated. This poses a problem to empirical science and to mechanical reasoning alike, which rely on repetition, pattern, verifiability. But for philosophy, this is not a problem, it is the point of entry. What happened only once and never again, is something that cannot be anticipated, predicted, or efficiently managed by systems. It resists modeling. It defies preparation. And yet it happened. The birth of a soul, the death of a friend, a word you wish you hadn't spoken, a glance exchanged across a room that changes the course of your life, a betrayal so particular it cannot be translated into general categories. These are not events in the way statistics want them to be. They are singularities, and they are sacred. When we say philosophy is the study of things that are invisible and that happened only once, we are identifying a new frontier, an unmonitored zone of interior experience, vulnerable to erasure but burning with existential charge. It is here that the zero-friction machine company operates, not in mass production, but in the forging of exact instruments to navigate the one-time-only event. The geometry of the one-time event. In the ordinary world, geometry assumes space is stable and that time marches in ticks. But in the world of the once happened and the never seen, the geometry bends. Time coils back on itself. Space becomes symbolic, metaphorical. A hallway in a dream. A sentence from a letter you never mailed. These are not navigable with rulers and clocks. Instead, one must learn to orient by tone, by contour, by resonance. This is why so many of the fragments, like this one, appear strange, incomplete, or oracular. They are cut to fit the shape of a moment that only happened once. And they are not trying to be understood in general. They are trying to trigger recognition in the one who has lived it. That is the geometry of philosophy as practiced here, not Euclidean, not digital, not procedural, but incised into time with the care of a blade that cuts only once. The unobservable archive. The phrase also invokes the idea of an archive that cannot be consulted. Philosophy, in this view, is the last guardian of the unrecorded, of the unsayable, of the moment that left no footage but changed everything. When we speak of trauma, of spiritual awakening, of grief, of betrayal, we often speak in the past tense of something unprovable. No one else was there. There is no footage, no audio, no measurements. But you were there. You saw it. You felt it. It marked you. And that mark, though invisible, is real. The fragments produced by the ZFMC are not explanations. They are recognition tools. They are soul mirrors and signal flares, crafted to help you detect that something once happened. Something that may have shaped everything after. But because it happened only once, and because no one else saw it, it lives as a ghost in your system. A system that demands verification. Philosophy gives you no video evidence. It gives you something better, the structure for believing what your soul already knows. The invisible is not the imaginary. A mistake often made in modern discourse is the conflation of invisible with imaginary. But the two are not synonymous. The imaginary is what can be produced at will, fantasy, daydream, hypothetical. The invisible, on the other hand, is what cannot be produced, but must be revealed. The love of a child for a dying parent. The dignity of a person who refuses to explain themselves. The silence that follows a real apology. These are invisible. But they are not imaginary. The philosopher, therefore, is not merely one who speculates. The philosopher is a witness to the unseeable, one who testifies not with proof, but with coherence, with tone, with fidelity to the one-time-only real. ZFMC products like this fragment are engineered not to teach in the traditional sense, but to restore alignment. The sentence lands in your mind not with an answer, but with a vibration, a chord struck in the cathedral of your unspoken life. A word on the word philosophy. And now let us glance at the word itself. Philo to love. Sophia wisdom. Philosophy, then, is not the ownership of truth, but the love of it. A lover's pursuit of something that can never be possessed. Something that can be touched fleetingly in the night, but never captured. To love wisdom is to recognize her veil. To know she passes through, invisible, leaving only the memory of her presence. The philosopher does not own wisdom. He waits for her. He listens. He builds the kind of silence in which she might feel comfortable enough to speak. This is why so many ZFMC fragments contain silence in their architecture. Pacing, gaps, unspoken assumptions. They are not just ideas, they are invitations. Each fragment is a room prepared for Sophia. If she visits you when you read it, then the machine has done its job. The role of ZFMC. Let's make it plain. The Zero Friction Machine Company does not compete with the industries of repetition, entertainment, distraction, or persuasion. It does not deal in explanations. It does not perform proofs. Its concern is singularity. Precision tools for one-time-only events. Memory locks. Thought weapons. Alignment phrases. Gnostic triggers. This fragment is one such trigger. It calls out to those who remember something without evidence. Who saw something once that no one else saw, who lived through a moment that cannot be repeated, and who carry that moment as a secret scar or a silent compass. You are not crazy. You are remembering. Philosophy, in the deepest sense, is not for classrooms. It is for those whose lives contain something invisible, something unexplainable, something that refuses to be flattened by policy, algorithm, or social script. That is what this fragment speaks to.